Welcome to this VSA Capital interview. Today I'm speaking with Gerard Kisbey Green of Caracal Gold. Hello Gerard, good to see you.
Hi Andrew, good to see you too.
Caracal Gold, it's a new listed company that's come to the market via a reverse takeover of a standard listed cash shell. It's on the main market, and it's undertaken a fundraising of £2.8 million at a share price of 1p, and its market capitalisation on admission was 14.5 million. The company Caracal Gold, its ticker is GCAT, and a prospectus was published on the 20th of July, and it's available on the company's website, caracalgold.com. Gerard, tell us about Caracal and why is it so interesting?
Andrew, I think it's interesting because it's a new gold listing which already has a producing mine and a fairly substantial resource. And it's in an investor-friendly environment in Kenya, and we have a great growth strategy. So, you know, it kind of ticks all the boxes, unusually for a new junior company.
This asset that you've got in Kenya, Kilima Pesa, it was owned previously by Goldplat, a company with which you've been associated for many years. Why did Goldplat dispose of it, and what's Caracal Gold going to do with it?
So Andrew, Goldplat disposed of it because they really are a recovery company, and they at one point in time had a strategy to pursue a mining portfolio and decided to leave that strategy and focus on their recovery operations. And so the only mining asset they had was the Kenyan Kilima Pesa gold mine, and it presented an opportunity for us to acquire it. You know, why us? Why would we do anything different? We put together a team, a skilled management team with a lot of experience of doing just this kind of thing all over Africa. You know, starting up mines, running processing plants, and it's a very good team. And we've rehired, 400 people over the last 12 months on the mine and in the processing plant, and most of them are those that used to work there before. So we've really picked up the asset which was on care and maintenance. We restarted the processing plant in September. We restarted the mine in January. As we've raised capital, we've been investing in the plant and the mine. And now with this final capital raise, well, not final, but this capital raise, we are going to be able to very, very quickly grow to the numbers that we've got in our short-term plan, which is an annualized rate of 12,000 ounces a year.
Okay, so just talk us a little bit more through the numbers in terms of how production is looking, and also, of course, as far as Caracal Gold is concerned, the resources that you've got. Just talk us through the numbers.
Sure. So, in Goldplat time, they produce a maximum of about 5,000 ounces a year. We've been building up since January, and we are very close to that rate at the moment, and we will more than double that hopefully within the next 6 months, and our plan is to do that in the next 6 months. So it's quite an aggressive build up. It'll still be a relatively small producer, but it'll be a decent producer and very profitable, very, very, very profitable. We then plan over the next 12 to 18 months to increase that to 25,000 ounces out of Kilima Pesa and surrounding areas. You mentioned the resource ounces, and that's obviously the second pillar of the whole strategy, which is to increase the resource ounces quite dramatically. Out of the blocks, we have 670,000 ounces. So that's a good resource, especially considering the low level of production at the moment. So it's a substantial resource, but we have a prospecting permit where we believe we can quite quickly and quite cheaply, in other words, at a fairly reasonable cost of discovery of ounces, build up to 2 million ounces on this prospecting license. And to that end, we've already acquired 2 drill rigs, and we put together an exploration plan, and we're assembling a very, very strong exploration and drilling team at the moment. And they've already been deployed to site. And we believe that in this time frame, we can get to the 2 million ounces of resource on Kilima Pesa and our prospecting permit.
Looking through the prospectus, you've got quite a strong management team there. The board looks like it's got a lot of experience. Just talk us through what the board looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So Simon Games has got a lot of banking experience, and he's been involved in the exchange for a long time. Robbie McRae, who's the chief executive officer. Sorry, Simon will be the chairman. Where's the chairman now? Robbie, chief executive officer, extensive experience in mining, starting up new ventures, and running operations all over Africa. I'll be on the board as the other executive. And I've got 34 years of experience in the industry, pretty much half of which was banking and half of which had been mining. And also a lot over Africa, and specifically in East Africa. I ran a Canadian exploration company which focused on East Africa for quite some time. And as you said, I was associated with Goldplat, and I was very involved in the Kilimapesa mine at the time. So yeah, I think, and then the other directors, the non-execs, will be two of the ex-Papillon directors.
Right. Now, you've talked about East Africa. The two pillars initially is getting production up and getting resources up. But the third pillar is East Africa. Tell us a little bit more about why you feel the region is so interesting.
Andrew, other parts of Africa have had a lot of attention over the years. And they've grown, and the majors are very involved, and they've been explored quite extensively. We feel that East Africa, notwithstanding the fact that there's been a lot of mining in Tanzania, but there is an extensive mineralized region, we believe there's a lot of opportunity, and especially for juniors like ourselves to get in and grow pretty rapidly. So, in the first instance, we will grow in Kenya, and we're on a mineralized belt called the Migori Greenstone Belt, and we occupy the eastern extent of that on our licenses. But there's 100 kilometers of strike going all the way from the Mara Reserve to Lake Victoria, and we know the incumbent owners of those licenses, and we'll speak to them and do the right kind of deals to optimize the exploration and exploitation of those resources. So that is kind of Kenya, but we've already been looking at Tanzania because it's a very prospective place, and there are opportunities there. And now that we've listed today, we're going to very aggressively pursue a couple of opportunities which we've identified in Tanzania and equally in Uganda. But to be honest with you, all over East Africa there are opportunities, and we will, within the limits and constraints of our team and our resources, we will develop as quickly as possible.
Well, East Africa is an interesting place. VSA Capital has a partnership agreement with an investment banking and broking firm based in Nairobi, which is FIDA Investment Bank. They work with the Nairobi Securities Exchange. You, of course, have been looking at expanding your presence within Kenya. Do you want to just tell us what your plans are with regard to the stock exchange there?
Sure, Andrew. Yes, and yes, we've been in communication with FIDA for quite some time now. They obviously are able to do listings on the Nairobi Stock Exchange. It makes a lot of sense for us to do a listing there, and not only to increase local ownership, as in Kenyan ownership of Kilimapesa and Caracal for that matter, but also regionally. And one could choose any one of a number of exchanges regionally, and we just felt that the Nairobi Stock Exchange is a good one. It's very well supported by the London Stock Exchange, and we've been talking to both, and with FIDA. So we're in the process of doing the documentation and getting everything sorted out, and we very much hope to be able to complete a listing, probably not by the end of September, but soon in October.
Great. Well, of course, you'll be the first mining company to be listed in Nairobi, dual listed there. So that's going to make you quite special. And I know that through our discussions, we'll be working with FIDA in order to try and ensure that you reach out to what is a pretty big investor base that they have in the region that will be helping to support the company in its future plans. And on the subject of investors and shareholders, tell us about your shareholder base at the moment.
Well, so we've got a fairly diverse shareholder base, and the major shareholders is Deutsche Metall Gesellschaft out of Germany, and then Goldplat obviously retained a just over 7% interest, and then management. So, and then thereafter it's pretty much a retail base at this point in time, and I think probably appropriately for the kind of share which we are right now, and we will seek obviously to changing that and growing the shareholder base over time.
Great. Well, Caracal Gold has had a good debut on the London Stock Exchange, starting at a premium, which is great news. VSA Capital will be producing research on the company, which will be available in due course, and that will be available on our website, vsacapital.com, but also on the company's website, caracalgold.com. And it's produced by our two research analysts, Ollie O'Donnell and Paul Renken. Gerard, thanks for coming on. It's been great to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for the opportunity. And, we've got a very strong pipeline of news flow over the next few months, and look forward to sharing that with you and your audience.
That'll be great. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks, Andrew. Cheers.
Cheers.